Welcome, welcome one and all. Winter Wizard here. And in this video, I'm going to be unveiling to you my new army. So much for joining me today, whoever you are, and welcome to this little video of mine where I'm going to be unveiling to you my new army. Well, it's cold and lonely here in Winter Wizard's Frozen Fortress, but it's a beautiful day out there. Got a nice cup of tea over there, Terran Gold, and I'm joined as always by my friend and co-host, Norwegian Troll Dimmu. So this is going to be nice. We are so excited here today because it is in fact the 1st of March. So what does that mean, Winter Wizard? Well, the 1st of March means the start of a new hobby year for me. I got back into the hobby in 2018, around about March time, because that's when my birthday is. And I got back into the hobby then, and I've kept a hobby code since then. One army a year. And now, so, one army a year. We've seen the Drowned Plague, we've seen Forge Phobos, we've seen the Frostpaws, and now we're going to see another army. So I won't bore you any longer. We're going to dive right into this. I'm going to quickly explain how this video is going to work, and then we'll get on with it. So in just a moment, I'm going to tell you who the new army is, and then following from that, we're going to keep things nice and relaxed here. We're just going to sort of enjoy the new reveal and sort of take the time to get excited about this. And because I'm absolutely buzzing, I've got a bit of a show and tell prepared for you. I've got a few things I'm going to bring out. I'm going to talk to you about why I've chosen this faction, why I'm excited about it, what I want to do with the army, some plans going forwards. I've got loads to talk about. So enough rambling. Who's the new faction, I hear you ask? Well, I have in fact prepared for you a very short little piece of narrative. Very short little something just for you to watch, and that will lead into the unveiling of the new faction. So if you're sitting comfortably, and if you're ready, watch this.
Fabricator General. First Alpha Primus, what is it? We have received a data file, sir. What kind of data? Hard data. A comms transmission from Capri, forwarded here. Then it would appear our dear Arcus has something he thinks we should hear. Load the data. Analyze.
Data analysis. Classification. Skitarii communications link. Transmission source. Arcus covert. Techno archaeologist. Forge Phobos. Location. Planet designate Capri. Tomb vault designate 1. Transmission recipient. Deimos Terron. Fabricator General. Forge Phobos. Transmission reads:
It is as we feared. They have taken the hall and the second vault. We have sealed the doors, but cannot hold them for long. The sand shakes. Guns in the deep. We cannot get out. Shadows move in the dark. We cannot get out. They are waking. They are coming.
Transmission close.
What does this mean, Fabricator General? It means, First Alpha Primus, ready my ship. We have made a grave error.
Okay, there we go then. So, a new faction has arrived. A fourth army has come to Winter Wizard 7, and it is the Necrons. There they are. The Necrons. So, let's talk about this. So I'm going to talk about why I'm excited about this, why I've chosen this particular faction amongst all the others. I'm going to be talking about my plans and things I want to do and stuff to get excited about. I've got the codex here, and it is, in fact, you can see it is still in shrink wrap. So haven't opened this yet. I've been keeping it ready for the 1st of March. And so today here now on the 1st of March, the first day of a new hobby year, I'm gonna unwrap this codex. I'm gonna open it up, flick through it, and just sort of enjoy the process of getting excited about this new thing. So the very first thing I want to talk about is, maybe you're wondering, well, what did we just see, Winter Wizard? Well, why don't I tell you about the little piece of narrative that I just played for you? So if you allow me to cast your mind back to when I released the Forge Phobos Faction Focus and Lore video. These are the audiobook style videos that I make. I write a story, sort of a fictional story of mine, which gives you a really great insight into the army. It's supposed to be kind of like your perfect introduction to the faction, your official introduction. And so in the AdMech one, it was a story. I won't say too much in case you haven't seen it. I would really urge you to go and check it out. But in that story, the Adeptus Mechanicus, they've heard rumors about this ancient piece of technology called the Iris of Set, and they've got a real fancy for this piece of gubbins, to be honest with you. And so they do some naughty stuff, and they track down an Inquisitor they hear who knows a thing or two about this artifact. And what they find out is that this artifact, the Iris of Set, belongs to a Necron dynasty. Now this dynasty is a tomb world. Tomb world is called Khepri, so the Khepri dynasty. And the dynasty has not yet awoken. They are still asleep. So in the typical and radical Forge Phobos fashion, they come up with a scheme to track down this planet, to find Khepri, and to get inside the Necron tomb vaults. And with some AdMech Forge Phobos trickery, what they're going to do is slaughter and murder the Necrons while they sleep. They're going to nick the device, the Iris of Set, and whatever else that they can find, any other shiny gubbins, then they're going to hightail it out of there. Job done. But, well, like all things in 40k, it doesn't really go quite according to plan. So the AdMech Forge Phobos, they do find Khepri, and they do get inside the tomb vaults. We know that much. And but things go awry, and the tomb world wakes up. And so the little piece of cinema we just heard, the piece of data that Dimas Terron was listening to, that's a little transmission from the surface of Khepri while this is happening. And this is a whole piece of narrative that I'm calling the Slaughter of Khepri. And I'm so excited about this story because, well, I know so much. The AdMech find the planet. They get inside the vaults, Tomb Raider fashion, you know. They try and nick some stuff. They try and kill the Necrons, but the Necrons, they wake up. So Forge Phobos are responsible for awakening the Khepri dynasty. And but that's all I really know at the moment. And what I really, really want to do, what I would love to do, what I would really love to make happen, it's a bit of a dream, but I'm sure we can get it done one day. I've talked about wanting to do battle reports before, and I really do. It's something that I've definitely been thinking about. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of things to work out, and it's not something I want to rush into, but I dream of the day where I can tell you the story of the slaughter of Khepri through a narrative battle report campaign. So a multi-part episode series of campaigns under the title The Slaughter of Khepri. And what I want to do is, I want the battle reports to write the history. I want the battle reports to tell you this story. So I don't know especially everything that's going to happen. All we know is that the AdMech get in there, but do they find what they're looking for? Do they take, what else do they find perhaps? Do they manage to get out alive? How many of the Necrons can they murder in their sleep? What are the AdMech casualties like? So many questions, you know. It's called the Slaughter of Khepri, but a slaughter for who? were both factions taking a slaughter, or was it just one faction? So yeah, I've got so many cool ideas about this series that I want to do, and I really can't wait for the day where I may be able to get to produce that and share that with you. But there we go. So it was Forge Phobos that awoke the Khepri dynasty, and now they are here. Now they're awake. I've got so many wonderful ideas of things that I want to do with the lore, things that I want to do with the stories of the Khepri dynasty, and I'm thrilled to be able to look forward to the day where I can share all that with you. So there we go then. I'm going to move on now. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I've chosen to start a Necron army. Well, actually, one of the biggest reasons why I've decided to start a Necron army goes all the way back to when I was a very young boy, a wee little wizard, and I first got introduced to the hobby of wargaming. Now, if you ever checked out my I Am A Wargamer video, it was a little trend that was going around that some YouTubers were getting involved in. We just answered a few simple questions about ourselves, and in that video, I talked about when I was introduced to the hobby of wargaming, and the very, very first thing that I ever owned was, in fact, Tomb Kings. So if you maybe you won't remember, or maybe you do, the old Warhammer fantasy range, and they had an army called Tomb Kings, these like skeletorial ancient Egyptian themed army of warriors with these great beasts, and it was really like, to me, and it had that real fantasy style about it, you know, and that sort of fantasy, sort of fantastical, historical sort of way of waging war, you know, legions of warriors with archers and cavalry and great sort of monsters, like, you know, like ancient elephants and monsters like that. And they had it all in that lovely ancient Egyptian theme. And while I was growing up, that whole theme of ancient Egypt, the Egyptian gods, always really captivated me. I loved that stuff when I was growing up. Nowadays I'm very big into things like Vikings and pirates, but also I still absolutely adore the sort of, you know, the fantastical mythology of ancient Egypt and that sort of style. So I adore that stuff. And well, as you can imagine, you know, being a young lad, being given a paintbrush and a pot of paint and a plastic mini, well, I absolutely murdered that those miniatures with paint, and I thought to myself, you know, it'd be really nice to be able to go back to my origins, you know, and do that Tomb King army justice, you know. And well, Necrons are essentially the Tomb Kings of 40k, so I've always had a real big interest in them, but saying that, I never cared for the models. I always found them a little bit lackluster, didn't like them as much as the Fantasy Tomb King range, and always hated those green rods as well. I never liked those very much, so I just found the model range a little bit lackluster. It didn't entice me, and so I always thought about Necrons as a faction that I really love, but just didn't really care for the model range. And then, well, speaking of the model range, lo and behold, a little something happened, a little something called Indomitus, a little something called 9th edition, and the Necrons suddenly got a whole new range of models. And well, as soon as I saw their models, I was hooked. I thought, oh my goodness, those are beautiful, and they are looking like Necrons. They look like Necrons that I've always wanted them to look like. You know, I just loved the real sort of that ancient sort of old sort of haggard sort of appearance to them, the old skeletorial, you know, legions of the dead kind of look. The new sculpts were absolutely amazing. The one sculpt that really did it for me, though, was the Illuminal Xenos model. I thought to myself, even if I don't collect a Necron army, I need to get that model just to paint it, because, oh my goodness, it's one of my favourite models that Games Workshop have ever done. And so that was it. So Indomitus came along, and well, so let me show you this. So Indomitus came along, and well, I did in fact pick myself up a box. Here it is, and well, to tell you the truth, I picked up a box. My brother, my dear brother Joseph, picked up a box, and and we split them between the two of us. So he took all the Marines, I took all the Necrons, and there are in fact, let me move this out of the way for you. There are in fact 2 Indomitus boxes worth of Necrons in this box. And you can see all of this models. And these have been sitting here in this box. It's almost like, you know, they've been sitting in this little tomb asleep. I haven't touched them. I mean, I think I've built maybe 1 or 2 of characters to sort of play around, maybe start building up some ideas for some colour schemes and things like that. But the majority of it all here has been sat in this little tomb under my desk. Well, since about, what was it, July, August, when Indomitus came out. There they are, sleeping away, waiting for the day to be awoken, and now here they are, waking up. So we've got, I think I sold, so I sold on eBay, or moved along to some friends, some of the characters, the doubles of the character, the Reanimator. I got rid of one of those, one of the Wardens, one of the Overlords, and one of the, what's that guy called? The Plasmancer. But I've kept, oh, and one of the Scorpec Lords as well. So all the characters, I've kept one of those, and I moved on the other ones. But all the rest of the stuff I've got double of in here. So there's, oh, and not only that, one of my good friends, very kindly, well, he got hold of a couple of these Necron Warrior boxes from somewhere, and he very kindly gave me a very nice price on them. So I got hold of those as well, and that makes 60 warriors in total in this box, which I think 60 warriors is a good start for any self-respecting dynasty. And oh, and not only that, I've got a couple of cubes of dice here. I always like to have a particular set of dice for each of my factions. So once the dice choose the faction, if you ask me. It's not always clear why, but yeah. Every army has a set of dice, and these play into the sort of colour scheme and a bit of a theme of the army as well. So I shan't be unveiling the sort of ideas for the colour scheme yet. I still need to finalise it, but definitely going to be using a bit of this bone colour in there in some way. And there we go. So some dice there. An absolutely enormous box of plastic. My goodness, so many stuff. And oh, and the amount of scarabs we've got in here as well. There's something like was it 3 for every 10 3 for every 10 warriors? So would that be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, about 18 scarab bases, which seems obscene, but I really love the scarabs actually, because I remember when I was young growing up, I remember watching the film The Mummy, and I remember what I thought was really cool, but also used to really frighten me, was the scarab swarms that we used to come over, you know, that would in the tombs that would eat people. I thought those were terrifying. So I really like the idea of having like these big swarms of scarabs on the board to kind of reflect that. Yeah, so I'm going to play into the ancient Egypt thing. Not perhaps the most original with the Necrons, but it's something that's really close to my heart and something that I really want to do. And I've got other ideas and other ways to come up with some more sort of unique individual things. I really can't wait to share with you some of the stuff that I've been thinking of and I've got planned for this army. Well, there we go. That's Indomitus. An enormous tomb of Crons here, all asleep, and now they're waking up. Well, that's it really. Well, there were a few factions that I was strongly considering starting, and well, perhaps some of the model ranges are, while I do like all of the models, and I did like the old Necron model range, I just wasn't blown away by it. But yeah, there's a number of factions that I was definitely strongly considering, and but it just so happens that one of them was Necrons, and that this came along, and so it all sort of fell together really. So I did in fact pretty much make the decision in August last year and to do Necrons, and and you know, unless one of those other factions had a model range like this come out, a nice huge refresh, then I was pretty determined to stick with the Necrons. But yeah, so maybe the cynic out there would say, "Oh, you're just jumping on the bandwagon of what, you know, the Indomitus bandwagon," and I would say to that, well, yeah, I am actually. That's exactly what I'm doing, because, quite frankly, when an army that you love, when they suddenly release a whole beautiful range of new shiny models for it, and it suddenly inspires you to want to build that force and want to create that narrative, you know, yeah, I'm going to jump on that. And quite frankly, I think now is the best time there has ever been to start a Necron army. So there we go. It's going to be Necrons. So there we go then. And the next thing that I want to do now, we're gonna just have a nice relaxed flick through of this book. So this is the moment. She's big. I'm excited. Got a craft knife here. We're gonna, well, let's just go for it. I'm gonna carefully take the shrink wrap off here. And come on. And there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 4th army for Winter Wizard 7, Khepri dynasty. The dynasty is now awoken. There we are then. So, I didn't really have any plans with what I wanted to talk about while I was opening this up or flicking through, but I just thought I'd enjoy the process of having a flick through, getting excited, and oh wow, it's absolutely beautiful. The new codexes that Games Workshop are doing, they're utterly beautiful. That was another thing I think as well, actually, which drew me to the Necrons, is the fact that they've already got a codex, which means I didn't have to maybe buy one of the 8th edition codexes and then it get, you know, made redundant pretty relatively quickly, or you know, perhaps the other way around, be waiting for ages just to get hold of the 9th edition codex for the said faction. Well, there we go. You know, Necrons. Aeons have they slumbered, while stars have wheeled through the heavens, and empires have risen and fallen to dust. Yet all things have their time, and amidst the flames and madness of the galaxy's death throes, so theirs has come again. Yeah, it's beautiful, so cool. There's one thing I absolutely love: the lore of the Necrons. They're one of my favourite factions to hear lore about. I just love the ancient aspect of them, how old they are. You know, they're like the oldest thing in the galaxy, one of anyway, and the fact that their story, you know, how they came to be, is so tragic and so just, you know, tragically beautiful. It's so grim dark and so so cool. And the whole, you know, these guys, they've murdered star gods. It's just, you don't mess with the Necrons. They're horrific. You know, they're possibly the biggest threat to the galaxy, with the exception of maybe like the Tyranids. Chaos, of course, but you know, Chaos is also very concerned with its own little thing off in the warp. You know, the Great Game, as they call it. But yeah, a Necron Tomb World wakes up. It's you know, solar systems collapse. It's amazing. And the hierarchy here and the royal court, these old sort of old ancient dynasties. It's all very lovely. Deadly treasures. Yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy. Oh man, the artwork here is just stunning. The whole production of these books, you know, they're such a pleasure just to sit and flick through. Utterly beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy. I'm gonna do it later, I think, after we finished up here. I'm just gonna get another cup of tea and just put my feet up and absorb this. Oh, this is something to think about. What kind of dynasty we want to go for. Khepri dynasty will be their own dynasty, but deciding on their traits, you know. Because what I like to do is, oh, there's Silent King. Yeah. Look at that piece of art. Just stunning. Sorry, waffling, getting off topic. Something that I really want, that I really look forward to when I create an army, is coming up with the rules to reflect the characters, or reflect the theme of the faction, reflect the playstyle of the faction. So, for example, the Drowned Plague, my Death Guard army, I wanted to create a faction that was, you know, a relentless tide, a nice hoardy element, come up with traits and things to represent the characteristics of the individual characters that I've written and stuff. So I've watched some like codex reviews online about the Necrons, but I don't know, I haven't fully digested it all or made the decision in my mind how I want to create these characters. And there's a Luminor, the model that really turned me onto this new range. I think he came out before Indomitus, and I thought to myself, you know, I've just gotta have that model. Yeah, so I definitely want to get him into the army. All these ancient characters. Yeah, some really awesome colour schemes out there I've seen for the Necrons. Like I said, I want to go for a sort of an ancient, sort of sandy Egyptian type theme. There we go. Oh, and the new Monolith as well. My goodness, I want one of those. I think they're £105 though, which is extortionate, but they are massive and they're so iconic. And again, that new resculpt, so much better than the old stuff. Amazing. It's nice to see some of the model ranges, like the Wraiths and stuff, they still look cool. You know, there are some things that do still look, they still suit, like the Doomed Scythes as well, they're all very nice. And the, what you call it, the Tomb Blades, very cool. But I love the new destroyers. You know, I've got 6 of those now. I like the Ophidian ones as well. I like these heavy, the Locust destroyers, they're really cool. It was annoying that Games Workshop didn't, I really wish they'd resculpt the regular destroyers. We've got the heavy ones here, but the regular ones, you know, I think you can mix them. Oops, I think you can mix them together, like have heavy ones in with the regular ones. But you know, put the old models next to this, it's just going to look daft. So I think that's a damn missed opportunity there. I think people would have snapped those up. Oh yeah, and this thing, my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to get one. Maybe I will, but it's ridiculous. It's utterly stunning. Silent King, you know. Well, like I said, I want to create my own characters. I forgot the name for one of them already. It will be the Pharaoh of the dynasty, the main man. But yeah, more on that another day. This is all very cool. Yeah, look at this. I like those terrain pieces as well. The not sure, I can't remember what they're called. They come in the 3. I like those a lot. Even maybe not necessarily for the rules, but even just to have some nice terrain on the board. Yeah, they're really cool. And the Void Dragon, you know, that was insane. That was insane. We move on to the rules and stuff. So from what I've gathered, you can build some really diverse armies with this codex. I think the codexes that are coming out are really well written books. Mostly. You know, I've had a couple of niggles with a few bits, but I think the approach that they're taking to them is really fantastic, because what I don't like in a book is where you've got a list of, say, dynastic traditions here, warlord traits, relics, and there's one that's like just utterly amazing and the rest are subpar, and you kind of just feel like I'm not really making a decision, because maybe I'll choose this one, but then I'm just knowing in the back of my head that, well, I should be choosing that one because that's so obviously better. So that, and you know, some of the codexes have had that problem. You know, I think like the old Death Guard codex, Arch Contaminator Warlord trait. I think the majority of people picked that one. I chose Revoltingly Resilient, which I think was a popular one as well, but Arch Contaminator was the favourite. But and I think with these new books, that's not so much of a problem. I think they're very much keeping it nice and balanced with loads of great choices. So yeah, it's lovely. Really cool. Stratagems here. We'll have to load of stuff to digest there. Dynastic stratagems. More amazing artwork here. So cool. Really like this new edition. I know we saw a little bit of it in 8th edition, but you know, being able to spend points to upgrade stuff. It's almost like getting extra relics, but not quite. Still very cool, very thematic. I want to go for a nice sort of a heavily science-themed Necron army. So the dynasty themselves, they're very big on their sciences. They're very scientific orientated. So I want to represent that in the characters and the models and stuff. So have like lots of special gear and stuff that they've created. Lots of special devices and stuff. Yeah. And the Warlord traits. Really looking forward to creating these characters. You know, I said it earlier, but really looking forward to it. Really nice looking Crusade army here. It's gone really heavy on the green, loads of green here. It is very cool. The sort of black armour there with the green trim. It's nice. There's something else that I think when I'm deciding to choose an army, I want to pick an army that's going to offer me a new challenge. And in this particular case, the challenge is going to be painting these blades. I don't know how much. I mean, I'm still undecided of how I want to approach them. I think I like the idea of being able to come up with a technique that's very effective, but maybe not quite so time consuming as some of the videos that I've seen, where they'll spend literally hours. They'll spend what feels like hours on a single blade. You know, just sort of blending and blending and blending to get that. It's a beautiful effect, but I don't know. I think you could probably get some very satisfying effects with a little less time. And I quite like the idea. I think that was something else with the Necrons. I liked the idea of being able to choose an army that I'd be able to sort of put together quite quickly. Not that I'm trying to rush it or anything, but I just quite like the idea of being able to sort of get an army together relatively quickly. And I'm trying to catch up with myself, you see, because I started this channel when I'd already had a couple of armies on the go. Well, I started it, I think, with even when I already had the Space Wolves, and it's taken me a whole year just to build up a nice big chunk of content, and I haven't even got the core foundation of content that I talk about for all 3 of the armies that I've got yet. And now I've just started a 4th one, so at the end of the year, if I could have all 4 factions with a nice core foundation of content, you know, painting tutorials, conversion tutorials, showcase videos, faction focus and lore video, because we'll have to have one of them for the Necrons as well, and also have the time to maybe have a think about having a go at creating a battle report. That would be nice. So picking an army that I think would assemble and paint quickly would probably help. That will help me sort of catch up and with the content and make more of it. There we go, and the get to the data sheets. All these interesting characters. I don't know too much about all the different characters actually. So I'm going to be interested to read some of the backstory of those. They were back here somewhere. See how they're reflected on the tabletop. Maybe I'll take one and, you know, change his name and use him as my own character. Zeras. And yeah, all these new characters are very cool. Warden's really nice. I like the Scorpic Lord, and yeah, quite like these command barges actually. Sort of chariots. I think that's the playstyle that I want to go for with this. Each one of my armies has a different playstyle, and that was another factor when deciding what army to collect next. I wanted to choose a faction that was going to play differently to the ones that I already have. And And I think this one will. I'd like to go for that sort of, I mentioned it earlier, the sort of fantastical, historical, you know, loosely historic, you know, fantasy history type-esque army style of playing, you know, legions of troops, archers, you know, cavalry, giant monsters, a very sort of ancient sort of warfare, you know, really like that style. I think that's the kind of style that I want to play into with this lot. The Chronomancer, all these Mancers are really cool. They're really nice. I like the Chronomancer, he's my favourite. Definitely want to get one of them. Definitely want to get one of them, he's very cool. And the Warriors, just, you know, when you think that, how better can they make a model by resculpting it? The Necron Warriors were, I didn't particularly care for them that much, but I never thought to myself, Games Workshop are going to resculpt them. You know, I didn't think that they were dying for a resculpt necessarily. Not like some of the other poor factions. You know, come on, Games Workshop. You know, Eldar, Tyranids, Orcs. It'd be great to see some love given to them. You know, in the same vein that Necrons have had, this has been wonderful. So, imagine doing this for Tyranids. You know, a whole new model range. You know. Brand new codex, whole new model range, just refreshing some of the old sculpts, even things just like Gene Stealers, which look fine. But imagine resculpting the Gene Stealers and what they would do, how nice they would look. You know, just moving away from resin, for crying out loud. But no. Back, positive thinking. So they've resculpted the Warriors and they look amazing. They look so cool. You know, they look battered and old and haggard. They look like they just look ancient. That's the vibe that's really coming across with the new range. They look ancient and old. And it's cool. They look like skeletons, you know. That's really cool. Yeah. Flayed ones. Not decided about them. Think they're very cool. I may get some. May experiment with those. Yeah, I think that would be cool to have some of them. Definitely for the collection. I'm not. I don't know. It's getting harder to put everything that you want into an army. So there are some units that I think I favour more than the flayed ones, but I think I'll definitely get some. And we get to the Catan shards here. Oh, this is all very interesting. These things are horrific. Utterly incredible. The Void Dragon, the model, I think is an awesome model. Really, really cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like the idea of the Shard of the Nightbringer. I've had a look at these rules sort of in some reviews and stuff, and I quite like the sound of this guy. He's supposed to be horrifically strong, but I just like his theme and his idea. But this is all very exciting for me because, well, I'm creating my own dynasty and I want them to have an association with their own Catan shard. I want to create my own Catan shard that's you know, wrapped into the lore and the story of Khepri dynasty. And I've decided what I want to call it. And I think I'll use the Nightbringer rules. I think they best suit his sort of style, his sort of, or its style, its theme. And out of everything that I'm excited to share with you about this army, I think what I want to do to make my own custom Catan shard is, I think you're going to really like it. And I can't wait to share that. Absolutely can't. Yeah, that. Oh, I want to say, but I'll flick over before I spill the beans. Yeah, because I'm so excited about that, and it's going to be so much fun. And anyway, yeah, Canoptic units. I really like Canoptic units as well, like the Scarabs and the Spiders, things like that. And like I mentioned earlier about the swarm of Scarabs, like you saw in the film The Mummy. I think that's really cool. Yeah, so I like Canoptic stuff a lot. Tomb Blades are very nice, and the yeah, there's the destroyers. I might get some Locust heavy destroyers, but I don't know. I quite like the Scorpec ones. I think I prefer the Scorpec ones, but these might be fun. I'm sure I'll get a couple just for the collection anyway. And but what I really love is these Doomstalkers. They're like War of the Worlds. I love how, have you seen how tall they are? They're amazing. And you know, they've got like this such awesome commanding field of fire across the entire board. Because, you know, it's like War of the Worlds looming sort of, yeah, they're really cool. I love those. And I reckon I'll get one of these signs, one of the ships, because they're cool as well. They're cool. But yeah, apart from Xenos, one of my favourite models has to actually be the Monolith. I think he looks incredible. Looks incredible. I gotta have one. Got to have one. I love the idea of being able to create a list around a Monolith. It's just really annoying that, you know, it costs 3 command points to put one in your army, and they don't get the dynasty. They won't get. I don't think they get things like dynasty rules and stuff. Oh no, it says here they do. Yeah, okay, well maybe I'll have to double check all the logistics of that. But they have to go in a super heavy detachment, I think. So that's really, and which costs 3 command points. So I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will try and make that list. But whether how much use I'll get out of it in game, you know, on a regular basis, I don't particularly care, because it's a monolith, you know. It's a space pyramid of death, and I think the model is utterly incredible. Yeah, love it. I'll be getting one of them eventually. They are expensive. Well, there's Silent King and Convergence of Dominion. Those are the things I was talking. Just really cool scenery stuff. Yeah. So that campaign I was talking about, the Slaughter of Khepri, I really love the idea of building a Necron themed, you know, a sandy ancient Egypt Necron themed board. Love that idea. That's one thing that I really love to do, actually, is make boards and set up boards. Really enjoy that aspect of the hobby. I love setting up terrain and tables. So I really want to get into that. You know, get into being able to provide some content where you can see that. You know. Well, there we go then, and we got some more amazing artwork here. Yeah, and that's the codex, that's the book. So that was a quick flick through there. And well, I say a quick one. I did ramble on quite a lot about a load of nonsense, but I hope that was kind of the idea. I just wanted to flick through and ramble on. So maybe I hope you enjoyed me just sharing a few thoughts about the Necrons and about the book. And also, I really hope that you're excited to see some content with the Necrons in. I hope you're excited about that. I hope you're excited to see what we're going to be doing with them. I hope you like the idea of the Slaughter of Khepri campaign for battle reports. Put it down in the comments below if you like that idea. Just give us a thumbs up as well. It all really helps the channel. And if you got any thoughts about the Necrons, what you'd like to see me do, or got any suggestions with some playing tips, or if you would have rather I chosen a different army, tell me everything down in the comments below. You know, I'd be thrilled to hear from you. Don't really have anybody to talk to here in the Frozen Fortress. Well, except Dimmu, of course. So put all your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section below, and right now I'm going to tell you what we can expect for content coming up on the channel. So I'm in the process of filming a nice solid foundation of content for each of the different factions. You know, Death Guard and Admech are done. The Space Wolves are in the spotlight at the moment. So soon I'll be starting to think about filming the Painting the Frost Paws painting series. And we've got a little mini series called Winter Weather Weaponry, which is in the process as well, and a couple of conversions still to show you too. And so the Space Wolves, I'm going to be working hard to get that built up, and by the time I finish them, I should have made some nice progress on building and painting some Necrons as well. I do have a few units left that I want to get for the Space Wolves. I got a Murderfang model to paint, and I want to get some Wolfguard Terminators as well. And that will take me up to the 2,000 point list that I want to play with the Space Wolves. So a couple of units left to get for them. I should tie in nicely with the content on the channel for them as well. And then after we've done that, you can expect to start seeing some Necron content on the channel. So we'll no doubt begin with some probably some showcase videos, probably a painting series, and but then again, perhaps it would be nice to start by seeing a faction-focused lore video for the Necrons. But we'll see how I get on with that, because they do take a long time to make, long time. So. But the first thing that I think you'll see from them, I'll do another channel update at some point, maybe this month or April, if not, and I'll unveil to you the finalized idea for the color scheme of Khepri Dynasty. So yeah, keep an eye out for a channel update video with that featured in it. So that'll be the next thing we see. But in the meantime, I think I'm just gonna really enjoy digesting this book, coming up with you know, all the tactics and all the ideas and all the traits and things to represent the army and represent the characters. I'm going to start thinking about some more names for characters and creating their personalities and reflecting all of that on the tabletop. So, well, that's going to conclude our new army reveal video today. I think I've rambled on far long enough, and but there we go. Xenos have arrived, the 4th army on Winter Wizard 7, Khepri Dynasty, and it's the Necrons. If you've enjoyed the video today, if you enjoy my work, then a like and a comment would be very, very much appreciated. It really helps the channel. And if you'd like to see more of what goes on here inside the Frozen Fortress, then perhaps you'll also consider becoming a subscriber. And once again, whoever you are, thank you very, very much for joining me today. I'm Winter Wizard, that's Dimmu, and for now, keep it frosty.